Man, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm sorry. I feel like I need to pay you for applauding for me like that, but unfortunately, I don't have anything for you. But if we haven't had the chance to meet yet, my name is Campbell. I get to lead high school here, which has been so much fun. Get to do really cool things like high school winter weekend and high school leadership team. And I just want to say, dude, I'm so excited for both of those. High school leadership team, you still have a couple Sundays to sign up, but I truly believe it is like the most fun thing that we offer. You'll grow a lot as a person. We're going to have a really heavy emphasis on community this semester, so I'm excited for that. And you just get to serve, which I think is really cool. And then high school winter weekend, we actually already have more people signed up this year than we brought last year, and so, which is amazing. And so a lot of people are signing up. If you're going to come, please sign up as soon as you can so we can make sure that we have space for you. We have to let the camp know how many we're bringing in ahead of time, and if you try to come too short, we may not be able to add the spot for you. So if you want to come, please sign up as soon as you can, because again, we're bringing a lot, and it's going to be awesome. And so both of those are going to be incredible. But before that, today we're starting a brand new series called Witness, which is really cool. We'll get into what it's about a little bit, but with the new year being a couple of days ago, I was kind of looking back over the year. It was a big year for me and my family. Me and my wife moved here from Atlanta, which was a big move. Took a big leap. We bought a house, which is just crazy that the fact that we have a house. Just a lot of life things happened. And then I started to kind of look back over my life a little bit over the past couple years. And there were just like a couple things that really stood out that to me were just like, man, these were like really cool moments in my life that I realized like led me to having to tell people about. Like for instance, I haven't done a good job of talking about this, so a lot of you may not know this about me, but I'm a huge football fan. Like, I love American football more than it's like Jesus, Gabby, and then it's a tie between y'all and American football. Like, honestly, those are like the top three things in my life. And I love American football. And my number one team is an NFL team in the city I was born. I am a huge Tennessee Titans fan. I may be the only Tennessee Titans fan you meet in your entire life, but I am a huge Tennessee Titans fan. They moved to Nashville from Houston right before I was born, so we had season tickets from the day I was born up until we left Nashville to move here when I was in ninth grade. So I'm a huge Tennessee Titans fan. If you don't know much about football, basically the Titans are awful, like so freaking bad, like it's depressing. And especially the last couple of years, it's been like really hard to watch. But I'm a diehard fan and like also watch no matter how bad it is. Like I should probably get arrested for watching the football that I watch because it's so bad, but I'm just that diehard that I watch it. But thankfully this year, our season was saved by this guy named Cam Ward. Cam Ward is our quarterback. He was like the number one pick. He got hurt today. Unfortunately, he's going to come back. But I'm a huge Cam Ward fan. And after his first game, he was in Denver. And I watched it on my phone because we were here for Night of Worship. Don't tell anybody I was watching it during Night of Worship. So I was watching the game. And Cam Ward, he had an okay game, but Denver's defense was cool, whatever. The next game was in Nashville. And I actually got to go with my brother to watch the game. And it made me a Cam Ward fan for life because this is what happened, right? So it was right before halftime, and the Titans were about to they were kind of like competing with this team that was really good. And they were called the Los Angeles Rams, and they were playing each other, and Cam Ward was at like the 5-yard line, had never thrown an NFL touchdown pass before. And Cam Ward, it's like third down, he hikes the ball, and he goes back, and so the people that are supposed to protect him are like really bad at their job. And so he has to like run away, and he's like running, and he's going, and the sideline's over here, and he's running, and meanwhile, I'm watching this, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And a guy starts to go open this way, and I'm like, no way he's gonna see that, like that guy's way across the field. He's about to step out of bounds, launches it across the field. The guy all the way over here catches it for a touchdown, for his first career touchdown, and I lose my mind. Like I'm hugging dudes, I have no idea who they are. I'm like high-fiving everybody. And that day made me the biggest Cam Ward fan ever. And why I bring that up is because now I'll tell anybody how good Cam Ward is. I don't care about Jackson Dart. I don't care about Shadur Sanders. I don't care about Tyler Shuck. Cam Ward is my guy. Any other Drake May, I don't care. Any other young quarterback, give me Cam Ward, right? Or maybe this will kind of make a little bit more sense to you. I lived in London my freshman year of college, the first semester, and we got to travel a lot. And one of the first places I went to was a place called Iceland. And Iceland was incredible. I didn't really know much about it. But on our last night there, I'm driving this rental car by myself. I'm with 4 of my friends. They're asleep in the car. And all of a sudden I look up, and there are these like green and pink lights flashing, and it's the northern lights. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy, what? And so I pull over the car, and I'm just like, to my friends, and they wake up, and they're like, what's going on? And they look out the window, and they go like, and so we all get out of the car, and so we're on the side of the road in Iceland, and we're all just going, like this is crazy. And so now, when people tell me about like the coolest place I've ever been to, I'm like, bro, Iceland. You can see the northern lights. Or maybe that may not make a ton of sense to you. And so obviously I married Gabby, who is like the most beautiful person on the planet. And so I don't even know how that happened. And so I'm sitting on my wedding day, and I'm across from Gabby. Eric's to my left. My best friends are behind me. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is the best day of my life. And from now on, like, all I do is like, dude, Gabby's the best. She's amazing. I love Gabby. My wedding was awesome. People talk to me, what's the best part about getting married? Or like, what do I need to know about my wedding? I'm like, dude, have fun. Enjoy it. It's the best thing ever. And I bring all this up because some things are too good to keep to ourselves, right? Some things you experience, like for me, Cam Ward, that touchdown pass, I'm like, oh, he's the best. Or going to Iceland, seeing the northern lights, bro, you have to go to Iceland, it's the best. Or marrying Gabby, I'm like, dude, you have to get married and experience the wedding day, it's the best, it's awesome. Some things are just so good that we have to share with other people. And what I want to help us see tonight is that what Jesus did for us is way too good for us to not tell other people about it. What Jesus did for us was so good that even more than Cam Ward and Iceland and even Gabby, which is crazy to say, like, dude, look at what Jesus did for us. Look at what Jesus did for me. And that's what I want to kind of help us understand tonight, understand this idea. But it can be hard. And for you, you may not necessarily see it as, well, Jesus is the number one thing I need to tell others about, but like if you got into your dream school, you understand what that feels like. Or if you ace the test, you understand what that feels like. Or if you win the championship or whatever it is in your sport, you understand what it feels like to experience something that is too good for you to not tell other people. And in the same way, what Jesus did for us is so good that we have to tell other people about it. But for some of us, faith has just kind of become something that we do for a couple reasons. We either do it, number one, just to come hang out with friends. Which, hear me, it's not bad to come to church to hang out with friends. If you're here solely just to hang out with your friends, I am so glad that you're here. That's an amazing reason to be at church. But it is not the main reason that we do what we do. Or for some of us, faith could just be like a list of rules that we follow, and if we break a couple, we can just ask for forgiveness and it's okay. And no, that's not really what faith is either. Or for some of us, maybe we come to church because it would make our parents happy, or it keeps our parents from being honest, and so we can go out and they don't ask us as many questions as long as we go to church. Whatever it is, like for a couple of these reasons, faith can kind of just become about us. But what if faith was so good that it wasn't just meant to keep to ourselves? That's what we're going to talk about today. And the reason I want to talk about this is because Jesus talked about it right before he ended up leaving his disciples forever, right? Or not forever until he sees them again, but on earth. Jesus had one final interaction with his disciples, his best friends on earth, before he went back to heaven. And something that happens in this conversation, I believe, is really helpful for us, and I want to talk about it today. So we're going to start in Matthew 28:18, and it says this, Jesus is speaking. And so Jesus says, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. And so this is really important for Jesus to say because he's about to tell his disciples something, but he wants them to understand, hey, all power and authority is given to me. So what does that mean? Responsibility and the power to do things is on Jesus. It's not on you. You don't have to do all this in your own power. I have all the power, which is encouraging. And then he keeps going. Matthew 28:19, he says, therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. And so this is the last thing Jesus commands his best friends to do, is he commands them to go tell other people about him. He commands them to go tell other people about the good news of Jesus. This isn't a part-time job. This isn't a recommendation. This isn't just something we do temporarily. This is the final mission, the main mission that Jesus gives his disciples, and it's the main mission for us. And what I also want us, or what I want to acknowledge is that faith, I understand, can feel really personal sometimes. And I know faith can kind of be triggering for people, and we're afraid to have conversations with people because we don't know how they're going to react when we share our faith. And I want you to hear me. Like, I totally get that. Or I don't want to make you feel bad for feeling that, because that comes out of a place for caring for people. And so if you've ever been scared to tell your friends about Jesus because you're afraid how they're going to respond, I hear you and I see you. I don't want to say necessarily that's okay, but I get where you're coming from, because you care about this person and you don't want them to feel like you're attacking them for anything. And so I get that. I understand that. But what I want us to understand is the best way for us to reach these people We're not trying to convince them that they're wrong. We're not trying to have arguments with them or anything like that. What we're trying to do is simply just live a life, or not live a life. We're simply, the best way to share faith with somebody isn't to try to convince them of something, but instead, it's to tell them how Jesus has changed your life, right? And that's what making a disciple is. It's going to somebody and saying, hey, like, this is how Jesus has changed my life, and I just want to tell you about it. You're not trying to convince them that they're wrong. You're not trying to push a certain agenda on them. You're simply telling them, hey, this is how Jesus changed my life, and I believe that he can change your life. And that's what this good news is. The good news is the gospel, if you've ever heard of that. And it's just a fancy word for the good news, meaning Jesus came to earth to live a perfect life that we couldn't do, to die and pay the punishment for our sins so that we could have a relationship with Jesus. That's what the good news is. And so if you're in this room today and you've been to camp, you've been on a Sunday, you've been a winter weekend, whatever it is, and you've put your faith in Jesus, you understand what it's like to have this hope. But the people in our lives don't have this hope. They don't live with this hope all the time, which, if you think about it, is really sad that the people in our lives may not have this hope. But here's the trap that we fall into sometimes, is I think we sometimes believe that we don't have to share the good news with other people because surely somebody else will tell them about it. Like surely Campbell or Eric or Caleb will tell them about it. Surely my tribe leader will tell them about it. But that's not always necessarily true. And my main point that I kind of want to center all this around tonight is this idea that no one else is coming. No one else is coming. And what I mean by this, and I want you to hear this, is I feel like sometimes y'all's generation, and I think people in my generation, I can get like this sometimes, we can kind of like mess around with faith a little bit, like not fully commit and half commit, because we're like, okay, like I can commit to that when I get older. Or I can get right after I go to college and go crazy, and then I can settle down, marry somebody, and then I can start going to church. But here's the issue I think there is with that, is the people that you're sitting next to right now in calculus, the people that you're sitting next to in history, in AP Lang, in whatever class it is, you may be the closest they get to a Christian their entire life. Like them sitting next to you in calculus or whatever class it is may be the closest they get to something that even represents a Bible their entire life. And so if we're just kind of messing around life, just kind of la, 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 and we're not telling others about Jesus and taking it seriously, like these people may never get the opportunity to put their faith in Jesus. And so we have a responsibility to tell other people in our lives about them, because if we truly care about them, we want them to have the peace of knowing Jesus. And so how do we do this? Like, how do we practically tell other people about Jesus? How do we show them who Jesus is? How do we get them to come into a relationship with him, right? Well, in Matthew 28:20, Jesus keeps going and he says, so you disciple them and you teach them to obey everything I have commanded you. So a natural question would be, okay, well, what have you commanded us? Well, John 13:34 says this. Jesus is speaking again, and he says, as I have loved you, you must love one another. And so what Jesus has commanded us to do is to love the people in our life. And the way that we do that is by caring for them, looking after them, and telling them how Jesus has changed our life and encouraging them that Jesus can do the same in their life. It's not trying to convince them that they're wrong. It's not trying to hit them with a bunch of facts so they change their mind. It's coming at them from a loving place and being like, hey, dude, like, Jesus changed my life in this way, and I really believe he can change your life. But I want to encourage you because Matthew 28:20, Jesus keeps going and he says, and surely I am with you always, to the very age. And so this command isn't solely on us. Jesus is with you when we're having these conversations. Jesus is with you when you're loving the people in your life. Jesus is with you when you're trying to help people come to see Jesus. Because yes, no one else is coming, and I want us to understand that. Like, there is urgency with reaching the people in our lives. But Jesus is with us in the middle of these conversations. You are not alone in trying to help your friends get to know Jesus. You're not alone in trying to see your family get to know Jesus. Like, Jesus is with you in the middle of that and really cares about you and wants to see your friends come and know Jesus. And something I kind of saw, this is something I saw on TikTok, but it's called the Great Meme Reset of 2026. Like, I don't know if any of y'all have seen this. But basically, it's like Gen Alpha and Gen Z are like super done with brain rot and like 6'7" and stuff. They're like, dude, this stuff is honestly so dumb. Like, we want to get back to like stuff that was popular like when I was like 12, like Vine and stuff like that. And I think it's hilarious, like low-key, like it's pretty funny. Like I'm like, dude, you guys are like 14 and you want to like reset the meme verse? I'm like, that's crazy. But what I would love for us is if we saw a great faith reset of 2026 in Wellspring students. Because I feel like a lot of us, if we're honest, have gotten very comfortable in our faith, where we live this life where we'll show up to students on Sunday, but that's kind of like the only Jesus that's reflected in my life. Or I'll go to Bible study on Wednesday night, and I'll do that, and students on Sunday night. But again, that's kind of the only Jesus in my life. Or, yeah, I love Jesus, but that's just kind of my thing, and that's my truth, and that's kind of what I do. And I'm not really, you can believe what you believe. And I get that because that feels loving. But if we really care about people, don't we want them to have the hope that we have? Because our friends who don't know Jesus, our family who don't know Jesus, they're facing life without hope. Like, if you don't have Jesus, like, what is your hope in? Whatever it is will fall. And so what I want us to hopefully get to this year, and everything we do this year is going to be geared towards that. Like, we're going super hard this year. Winter weekend, the content is going towards this. Like, I want us as Wellspring students to have a faith reset in 2026 that changes from, hey, I'm not just going to, like, live this casual Christian life, but, like, dude, Jesus, like, I am all in for you. Like, if you want me to go tell my friends about you, I'm going to go love them and tell them how you've changed my life and do it in a way to where they still want to be my friend afterward. I'm going to go love my family to where I'm a better son or daughter because I go to church, and I'm not, like, punishing them because they don't go to church and don't understand me. Like, I'm going to love them even harder. Like, what if our faith was so personal, but not personal in a way of we're not sharing it with other people, but we really love the people in our life so much that we're like, dude, I don't want you to live without hope. I want you to know Jesus. And so this series, Witness, is all about this, is how we can live a life that's reflective of what Jesus did for us, of this good news. And we're going to talk about different ways that we can reach people. And I have a couple questions I want you to think about. And the first one, this is just an honest question. Are you living a life worth imitating? If you have younger siblings, do you want them to live the life that you're living? That's the tough question. When I was in high school, the first little bit, I'd probably say no. If my brother lived the life I was living, I'd be like, dude, you're probably messing up. So are you living a life that you want other people to imitate? High school leadership team, this is what we're going to focus on. I want high school leadership team to be like, everybody in students wants to be like these people because they love Jesus so much, and it is so clear that their life is better because of it. And then the last question, who are 3 people in your life that don't know Jesus? Are there even 3 people in your life who don't know Jesus? That's a fair question. Because if there aren't, man, I would really encourage you, go get to know some people who don't know Jesus. And I'm not talking about like, dude, I'm not trying to get you to invite your friends to go to New Spring or invite your friends to go to FPC or invite your friends to go to Beach Church or whatever, right? If your friends go to a church and are involved, dude, praise God. Like, I want them to stay at the church that they're at. But if you have friends who don't go to church at all or don't really have a faith background or whatever, dude, I would really encourage you, start inviting them to church. Invite them to students. This is such an easy invite. You get free food and then just hang out for like an hour. Like, it's not that hard. I promise you the people in your life would give it a chance. And I think the senior class does such a good job of this. If they've been inviting for junior class, same thing. Y'all been inviting your friends and new people are coming in. And dude, I think that's so incredible. But I want us to be known for that. Like, I want us to be known in this like faith reset of Wellspring students in 2026 that, dude, we're going to do whatever it takes to see our friends come to know Jesus. Whatever it takes. Whatever conversation we need to have, whatever we need to do to love them, whatever it is, we're going to do everything that we can so then they get to hear about this good news. Because we care about them so much that we want them to have the hope that we have. And so we've got some questions that are kind of geared around this during Tribe. And man, I would just encourage you, please try to lock in as much as you can during Tribe. Like, this is the time where you can really take this information and dissect it and kind of think more about how you can specifically apply this in your life. And so I know it's hard. I know you're going to think about what you're getting for dinner later, or you just want to get out so you can talk to whoever in the lobby, whatever, right? But dude, I encourage you, please spend time actually talking about what we talked about, and I promise you it'll be worth it. It's only 30 minutes. Like, bro, you can do anything for 30 minutes. I know your screen time. Like, you can do it. All right? Can we do that? Is that cool? All right, seriously, I believe in you guys. Like, I believe this group can see Myrtle Beach students, like not just Myrtle Beach High, but all Myrtle Beach students, whatever, Myrtle's Inlet, North Myrtle, come to know Jesus because of how y'all love them. I really believe that. And hopefully this series helps you with that. All right, I'm going to pray, and then we'll go to Tribes. Jesus, thank you so much for today. Thank you for this opportunity to come together and learn more about you. Father, would you help us live with the mentality that no one else is coming? that we're not going to wait for other people, hopefully, to tell others about Jesus, or we're not going to wait for somebody else to do it, but we're going to be the generation that makes a decision to go all out for Jesus so that our friends and our family can come to know him and the peace that comes with that. Father, would you help us in tribe time pay attention and lock in and be respectful and nice to everybody? Would you help us have conversation that's helpful? Would you help us have conversation that is engaging and fun? And would you help us be better followers of you because of it? I ask that you be with us as school starts back tomorrow, that you'd help us have better attention spans and patience for school.